From a town that completely changed its visual identity just to survive, to isolated areas that hold dark and unresolved history, Washington is home to some of the strangest communities in the United States. Even though it is often associated only with dense pine forests and the fast-paced modern life of Seattle, the strangeness here is not just aesthetic. It is the result of a long process: economic adaptation, geographic isolation, and limitless human ambition. Through this video, we will trace 15 places that prove reality on the ground is often far more interesting than fiction. Here, every street corner holds a story that will change the way you see the Pacific Northwest. Leavenworth is one of the clearest examples of a town engineering its own identity. If you visit, you will not find the architecture of a typical small American town. Instead, every building, even international coffee shops and local repair stores, is required to follow Bavarian German design. That decision was made collectively in the 1960s, when the timber and railroad industries collapsed and left the town on the edge of economic death. Town leaders agreed to pretend to be an alpine village in order to attract tourists. Today, the transformation has been a complete success. The local economy now depends almost entirely on that theme. Its Oktoberfest is one of the largest outside Germany, and the town layout is so consistent that even small details like the font on store signs must be approved by the Town Arts Committee. Heading north along Highway 20, we come to Winthrop, a town that looks like a cowboy movie set that was never taken down. Like Leavenworth, Winthrop went through a total aesthetic redesign in the 1970s, but it chose the theme of the American West in the 1800s. One of the most interesting details is its preserved wooden sidewalks. The creaking sound under your feet creates an authentic feeling that is hard to find anywhere else. Building facades made of old, intentionally unpainted wood surround the downtown area, creating an atmosphere that feels rugged and historical. Even though the population is very small, life here feels active because ranching culture is still real in the Maryhill Valley. This town is not just a display. Many of its residents still live a tough rural lifestyle, which makes the Wild West theme feel more like a tribute than a tourism gimmick. Next is Poulsbo, often called Little Norway, and that identity is deeply rooted in its immigration history. It was founded by Norwegian sailors in the late 19th century, who chose this location because the landscape around Liberty Bay looked so much like the fjords back home. Until World War II, Norwegian was still the main language spoken on the streets of this town. What makes Poulsbo unique today is the way it preserves that heritage. You will see rosemaling patterns decorating the walls of its buildings. In downtown, the smell of lefse and julekake from bakeries that have been there for decades fills the air, creating a strange but pleasant contrast in the middle of the lush forest of western Washington. Meanwhile, Roslyn offers a kind of strangeness that comes from the mix of industrial history and popular culture. The town first grew rapidly as a highly productive coal mining center, drawing workers from many parts of the world. But for television fans, Roslyn will always be known as Sicily, Alaska, the main filming location for the 1990s series Northern Exposure. Its most iconic landmark is the Roslyn's Cafe mural, with the camel image still preserved on a red brick wall in the downtown area. Life in Roslyn today feels quiet, but it carries a deeply nostalgic atmosphere. There is something unusual about seeing the hard structure of a mining town decorated with eccentric television memorabilia, making it a place where historical reality and screen fiction permanently overlap. Then there is a town called Concrete. True to its name, Concrete is a tribute to the cement industry that helped build Washington's major infrastructure. Located in Skagit County, the town was once at the heart of building material production, supplying massive projects like Grand Coulee Dam. Its uniqueness is especially visible in its appearance. Huge concrete structures like the old silos of the Superior Portland Cement Company still stand tall over the town's skyline. There is even a giant concrete sign painted on a nearby mountainside, giving the area a rigid industrial feel in the middle of an otherwise beautiful natural landscape. Walking through downtown feels as if an older industrial civilization refuses to disappear, creating a slightly surreal atmosphere for anyone passing through. Also, did you know Stonehenge is not only in England? Maryhill is not really a town in the traditional sense, but rather the failed, ambitious vision of a man named Sam Hill. The main oddity that makes people willing to drive far to get here is the presence of a full-scale replica of Stonehenge. Unlike the original in England, which is made of ancient stone, the Maryhill version is built entirely from concrete. Sam Hill is known to have built it as a memorial for local soldiers who died in World War I, based on the mistaken belief at the time that the original Stonehenge had been used for human sacrifice. Standing on a cliff overlooking the wide Columbia River, this fake Neolithic structure creates a view that feels both deeply strange and strangely magical. But this town offers a different kind of experience. For many people, North Bend feels strange because its atmosphere always seems to be hiding secrets. With Mount C rising in the background and often covered in thick fog, the town became a main setting for David Lynch's mysterious world in Twin Peaks. Twed's Cafe is still there, serving visitors its legendary cherry pie and black coffee. But beyond its connection to film, North Bend truly has the kind of geography that supports that feeling. The quiet mood on its outer roads and its closeness to dark forests create a mix of grand natural beauty and a supernatural aura that is hard to explain. Being here can make visitors feel as if something is watching them from behind the trees. Still, if you are looking for the true definition of a dead town, Govan is the place. Located in Lincoln County, Govan now has only a few cracked buildings left standing in the middle of wide wheat fields. What makes Govan strange is not only that it is empty, but also the tragic chain of events tied to it. In 1902 and 1941, brutal unsolved murders took place here, which later triggered an exodus of residents. After the main highway was rerouted away from the town, Govan lost its last breath. Today, its most iconic site is an old school building standing alone in the wind. The atmosphere here is deeply silent, as if time stopped at the moment the last tragedy happened, making it one of the most unsettling ghost towns in Washington. Meanwhile, in the small town of Elbe, love for trains is not just a hobby, but the town's main identity. This place is almost entirely dedicated to railroad history. Its most distinctive feature is the Hobo Inn, where guests do not stay in ordinary rooms, but inside real renovated train cars and cabooses. Beyond that, the local church, the Little White Church of Elbe, is one of the smallest active churches in the world. With a very small population but an abundance of rail cars, Elbe feels like a living museum full of motion. Life here means living inside the nostalgia of a time when steam trains were the heartbeat of American progress. Next, let us look at how a bohemian contradiction actually works. Edison is a fascinating social anomaly in Skagit County. From the outside, it looks like a small farming village you might simply pass by, because at first glance it seems ordinary and unremarkable. But behind that modest appearance, Edison has become a magnet for artists, writers, and high-end art curators. Between farm equipment sheds, you will find contemporary art galleries, artisan bakeries with long lines, and restaurants serving high-quality organic food. This kind of bohemian gentrification in an isolated place creates a strange dynamic. Seeing local farmers with their tractors sharing parking spaces with luxury cars from gallery visitors is an unusual everyday scene in Edison. So what about this town? Zillah may look like a typical agricultural town in the Yakima Valley until you see the Teapot Dome service station. The building is shaped like a giant teapot, complete with a handle, lid, and spout. Built in 1922, this structure is not just a playful piece of novelty architecture. It was created as a sharp political statement mocking the Teapot Dome oil corruption scandal that shook President Warren G. Harding's administration at the time. Today, even though it no longer operates as a gas station, the Teapot building is still carefully maintained. It stands as a symbol of American political history, wrapped in a strange building that easily catches the attention of tourists and cameras alike. As one of the oldest towns in the state, Coupeville on Whidbey Island is a place where modernity seems to have been kept out on purpose. Its downtown is part of Edbe's Landing National Historical Reserve, which means nearly every building here is protected by strict preservation laws. The iconic red pier stretching into the water still stands firm from the 19th century, serving as a silent witness to the time when steamships were the only way to reach the town. What makes Coupeville unusual is the consistency of its quietness. There are no tall buildings and no loud neon lights. Being here creates the strange feeling of being pulled into a historical diorama that still functions normally as a community of fishermen and shellfish harvesters to this day. Far in the northeastern corner of Washington, wedged between the rugged Selkirk Mountains and the Canadian border, sits Metaline Falls. What makes this town unusual is the contrast between its extreme remoteness and its grand architecture. You will find a beautiful Art Deco theater and formal-looking brick buildings, all leftovers from the town's past prosperity during the lead and zinc mining era. With a population of fewer than 300 people, the scale of these buildings feels almost excessive for a place this quiet. In many ways, Metaline Falls is a hidden gem for anyone who wants to disappear from the outside world without giving up a touch of elegant history. Although Carnation is generally a friendly modern town, its outskirts hold an extraordinary cultural anomaly called Camland Medieval Village. This is not a typical theme park with plastic costumes. It is a serious reconstruction project of a 14th century English village. The people there are not just cosplaying. They truly practice a medieval way of life, from cooking over open flames to making traditional crafts without modern tools. Entering this space means leaving phones and modern technology behind at the gate. That deep commitment to authenticity, right in the middle of modern Washington, makes it one of the strangest and most fascinating places to explore. To close, let us look at Leicester, a town that is literally being erased from the map. Deep inside the watershed area that supplies Seattle's drinking water, Leicester was gradually emptied by government authorities in order to protect water quality. Public access is highly restricted and often requires special permission or a long hike. Its collapsing houses and railroad tracks slowly being swallowed by brush create the image of a ghost town in its purest form. Leicester is a reminder that sometimes a town is abandoned, not because of economic failure, but because of the basic human need for clean water, making it a mysterious, forbidden town. Washington proves that a settlement does not always grow in a uniform way. Sometimes it has to perform a new identity in order to survive, or choose to stop in one point in time to preserve its legacy. From the giant teapot in Zillah to the haunting silence of Govan, these towns show that uniqueness is born from the courage to be different in the middle of modernization. In the end, exploring places like these is not just a journey across distance, but an attempt to understand how many different ways people define the meaning of home. Washington will always keep these secrets for anyone willing to look far beyond the fog and the green trees.